Thank you so much for such a warm welcome. It's really a delight to be here at JLF, London. Been to London many times, but this has really been a very, very unique and a very special experience. Tumi Ma is a very unique publication. It's the first comprehensive compilation of Jayasri Burman's poetry that bridges the interconnected horizon of art and literature. This bilingual publication is written in Bengali, accompanied by over 100 of her illustrations, and meticulously translated to English by Arunava, a renowned translator who really needs no introduction after that fabulous introduction. Jayasri is known widely for her visual language and the resilience of her feminine characters rooted in myth and symbolism. As Jayasri forays into the world of poetry written in Bengali, it has a stark resonance to her paintings. Tumi Ma is a homage to the myriad shades of motherhood, divine and human, tender and fierce, personal and universal. The journey of this book began years ago when I discovered Jayasri's fascination with the written word. On one of my visits to her studio, she had showed me her diaries where she has been writing while painting, and with music in the backdrop. Being a remarkable artist has a distinct creative process which entails encapsulating all her feelings and thoughts in a diary while painting with music in the background. On one of my regular visits, when she showed me those diaries, which were written and in the form of prose and poetry surrounded by doodles and drawings. It was evident to me that her writings were driven by a passionate impulse. As I'm not fluent in Bengali, Jayasri recited these poems to me while translating them, and I was immediately impacted by the depth of her thoughts and sensibilities. Art Alive has had a very strong legacy of documentation, publication, and archiving in the sphere of art. So it was an exciting project, and it truly brought art and poetry together, telling compelling stories through both mediums. The poems were in Bengali, and we wanted the book to have a global reach. So we reached out to Arunava, who is a renowned figure in the domain, and over the multiple conversations in the next months and many meetings, it culminated into this book called Tumi Ma. The creative synergy of art and poetry has always contributed to the inspirational underpinning of artists' visual vocabulary. Just like Jayasri meticulously reimagines the myth, the energy of feminine and her characters on her canvases, exploring them layers after layers, her poetry also has the same nuanced approach. Her words express what her paintings do on canvases. The feelings that have stayed with her come out in the artistic reveries of poems and paintings. Today we are delighted to present Tumi Ma on this exceptional platform. And thank you, Sanjoy, and Teamwork Arts, and the entire team here who has invited us, and we are happy to have all of you here. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you.
Thank you so much. In last year's, or rather earlier this year at the India Art Fair, Sunaina and Jayasri asked me to come to the release of this particular book at the art fair, and I sort of cursed having to get there on a Sunday morning, and I thought, why have I said yes and all of that? But once I got there and once I got this book, it was truly fabulous because every page in this book is beautifully not just illustrated, but the way Jayasri is written, each page is art in itself. But so thank you so much, Sunaina, for bringing this to life and to Art Alive, and to, of course, Arunava for the translation. But Jayasri, let's start with your sort of influences. You went to Shantiniketan. You come from a very artistic family. Your uncle is a very famous artist. Was there pressure? Did you feel pressure that you had to turn out into this wonderful painter?
No, not at all. No pressure in me from my parents' side. They are very, very progressive and very, very encouraging for anything I wanted to do. So there was no pressure. It was spontaneous, but we Burman family, I must say, because so many artists and photographer and sculptor we have in between us. So we are really very blessed, and it was always fantastic. And I have brought up such a way that give importance and to respect others and give the value of their thoughts and process and keep the space between everybody. So it was wonderful for me to grow up.
Much of your influence or much of the work, how many of you have seen Jayasri's work? Okay, so some of you who haven't, much of what she paints is like herself, like exactly what she's wearing. It's translated onto canvas, but it's very touching. She looks at the figure of the goddess. She looks at the female energy as a prime mover. So tell us, how did you come to that position? Is it something that you started right from the beginning, painting and representing figures which were so specific to the female energy, apart from the swan and the many birds and the flowers?
Actually, I must say that I am from Bengal, and you know, Bengali, we worship Mother Durga, and we have Rabindranath Tagore each and everybody's house. So I must say, every Sunday I used to have a session with my father. So I'm very lucky. Tagore's poetry he was reciting, and I was listening like that. Many moments I remember. So he is the one like who planted my creative thoughts process, sensitivity, love, affair, everything. I think he put it in my mind. That is the biggest advantage I have got. And also I must say, because we from the beginning we have learned to respect mother figure, and I have seen worshipping Kali. We saw women are very powerful in Bengal. So that really worked on me. At the same side, and the other side, I saw the women are suffering, women are having problem, and so many kinds of tortures. So it is dilemma. So I hold the Shakti, I hold the power, and I paint it on my painting. That's my way of my expression.
As a painter, in all of these, in many of your canvases, you've used poetry even in the past. But this is the first time that you've actually compiled it into this beautiful book, and in many ways found a new voice.
Of course, it's like it's my journey. Actually, when I was class 1, class 2, I started writing small poetry. My father thought I will be a poet. It didn't happen. But I continued writing till now, last minute. Like it's all the time happening in my mind, and I write. So I didn't know it all compiled, and Sunaina said, Jayasri, I said, okay. Then Arunava Sinha came. I was very scared when he came to my studio. I was so scared to read in front of him because he is such a renowned and so well-respected person in his place. So I thought, I made something and he may get very upset with me, or like, what you have written and you think you are a poet. So I saw him and he was very patiently, heard all the things. And then he told me, Jayasri, you wrote a poem and when you were in class 2. I read it. He said, it has to be there in the book. Then I got a confidence. Then I thought, this is okay. Then I am okay. Little bit I am past. So it's like that. I never wanted to establish that I am a poet or writer. It is my creative process, Sanjay. So it's like, another tool of mine that I paint, and I have painted with my words. It's like that.
Your husband, Paresh Methi, has a completely different style. Is there competition between both of you?
There is no competitions, but we always learn from each other. Paresh is such a disciplined and energetic and positive person that anybody next to him will be that energy. So we really, feel very happy to be together, and we really give our space to each other very well. So it is very important for us. So no competition, because I have grown up from such a family. Like my father was, again, coming back to my father, I cannot complete the story because my father was a businessman. And he was quite successful person in his own business. But he always brought his distant brothers and everybody and put them in a same business. My mother used to cook for 40 people and fed them. And my mother never ever showed her face little bit of sad to us, and neither to my father. So that's why I have learned that there is no competition. There is always think good for each other. So then we can grow.
So next time, Punita, 140 people when I invite home, no frown on the face. Arunava, Jayasri talked about you going over to the studio. You actually juggle 3 hats. You're academic, you've got a media hat, and you've got this incredible translator hat. You're at number 96. I think you've 96 or 97 works you've translated. You've been so prolific. Tell us a little bit about your process and why you thought translation was such an important... 15 years ago, you had rubbish translations across Indian languages. It's only in the recent times that you're being able to access the richness of Indian writing across languages, and in your case, in Bengali.
Thank you for that. And I went to your studio hoping to steal a couple of paintings, but you kept such an eagle eye on all the work. And as for space between you and Paresh, I just realized one just has to visit you at home for that, to see the paintings by the 2 sets of artists competing for space on the wall, literally. You don't know where to look first. So yes, Shronja, translation did take off about 15 years or so ago in India. Probably has a lot to do with the fact that the multinational English language publishers came in around that time. Penguin had come in earlier, but most of the others set up shop then. And they were looking for very many more books than those writing in English alone could produce. And there was already this rich mine of works in various languages. So I guess I was in the right place at the right time. But interestingly, the first novel translated novel of mine that was published 14 years after I had finished the translation. Wow. So you can see that it was a matter of timing more than anything else.
I remember in this case of poetry, which is so difficult because every word you have to weigh and you have to look at the meter, and you also have to look at the nuance. Now we know while a lot of stuff can travel between Indian languages and English, how, for example, do you translate Naka into English? Patla Paikhana is easy, which is diarrhea, as you know, but Naka is, how do you translate?
What? Translation is not always about finding an equivalent word. Sometimes you can lend the word to the language. English has been enriched by many words from Indian languages because they didn't have words of their own. Shampoo, for example, comes from chapna. So Naka should
Or
be part
loot
of...
or bazaar.
Yeah, so Naka should really be part of the English vocabulary around the world.
Adda?
Adda, for example. Yes, Obiman. I mean, it's good to learn to feel and do things the way other people in the world do, right? Especially those whom you've colonized in the past.
Sunaina, before I delve into the poetry bit itself, the art world in India has been celebrated, and it's been quite a while. M.F. Hussain, many of the masters, the Bengal great masters, etc. But in today's day and age, it's really also about the commerce. And you're having to deal and navigate the politics of the art world. Tell us a little bit about how difficult or easy it is. And what do you do to a badly behaved artist? Do you have a cattle prod or...
I'm lucky I don't have badly behaved artists. I've never had. In the last almost 25 years of being in the art world, I've been pretty blessed to be working with some of the very fine young artists who've now become like big names. And the relationship has followed and has grown together. We've literally grown together. The art industry has grown together. Artists, galleries, curators, all the elements who make into the art industry, we've all grown together. So when you grow together and it becomes, the commerce comes and money comes, of course there is politics. There's politics in everything. So, but we need to navigate. We need to have our vision clear. We need to have, what are we here in the art world for? Are we here to just make money? Or are you here to have this creative process grow and reach to a much wider audience? So once you have your vision clear, you stay away from politics.
One of the things that you need in any creative process is critics.
Yes.
And sadly in India today, or across the world today, the kind of space that
Yes.
media gives to any kind of
We are losing
art
it.
or criticism is very limited. How can an artist grow without criticism?
So we have experienced that. Like when I started the gallery at that time, there used to be a very special column in HT. There were two columns that used to come on two alternative days, and that used to look at the art, the best show this week, or the artist to look for. And then we used to have Keshav Malik. We used to have some very fine, critics who used to write very interesting, observations about the art. Unfortunately, we have lost all that, and there's hardly any space. So then the gallery started looking towards other alternatives. We started working on publications. We started working on having more of interaction and talks, dialogues. So we found our way because unfortunately art industry is not really supported by the institutions that needs to support. Now we are getting that. So now the museums also are private museums coming up. The National Museum is not doing that much that one would want for it to do for contemporary art. So having less and less space gave us towards looking into making our own publications, our own, the catalogs, more and more catalogs, because when I started the gallery in 2000, there were hardly any cataloging of art. Now, I think every artist is being catalogued. Now, resonants have been done, that we are looking back at works which are not catalogued to catalog them. Publications. So I think we found our way and to reach out to the much wider audience. And platform like these, I mean, like what you have created, given us platform in the literary circuit. So we also expanding boundaries. We're reaching out to more audience. So I think there is always a way.
Jayasri, has there been a growing awareness about the kinds of art, and not just decorative art, but moving beyond that by the Indian and international audiences who are now buyers and investors and collectors?
Of course, there is a lot of art is now happening, and experimental work, contemporary work. It's not now only folk art or traditional art. Artists are really experimenting with lot of medium and lot of beautiful work. They're coming out with lot of stories. So it's wonderful. But at the same time, I must say that art is something you cannot just decide and do. Art is something, it always comes to you spontaneously. and the situation you are in, the where geographically where you are that moment, those color scheme works on you, those people works on you, those culture works on you. You go to a temple, how you feel there, you go to a museum, how you feel there, and now world has opened to us. So it's very nice. And decorative, you said, I must say, there is everybody says decorative art. There is nothing, without decoration, nothing happens. In the sky, you look at the sky, the clouds are there. So many poets has written beautiful poetry on the clouds because they are a different kind of shapes. You are looking at them and you are thinking sometime, you are riding on them, you are going somewhere. So there is the art, you cannot keep the art in a geometrical circle, you have to break it. And at the same time, design and decoration is very important because God has, universe has created us. We all have two eyes, two eyebrows and everything, but we are all different. So this little decoration he has also done. In the universe, you see the trees, plants, butterflies, they are all decoration. He has created this and he has put them with the life. And decoration is very important in any aesthetic subject.
You talk about stories and art being about stories. This book of yours is about story, and you talked about situation at that point. Tell us a little bit about Ganga, the poem that you've penned in here, and how it came about.
Ganga is a very, very favorite subject for me. When I was very, very young, Bengali, before Navaratri, we have a Mahalaya day. And that day, we all Bengalis, we go to Ganga Ghat and we pray for our ancestors. So it was ritual every Mahalaya. I used to, my brothers also, we used to go with our parents to the Ganga Ghat. And looking at the Ganga Ghat, it was like a performing stage for me. Drama is happening. So somebody is doing rituals, some widows are breaking their sakhapola, somebody is doing baithak. So it's so many things happening together in one place. So I was always used to think why people are coming to the river Ganga and doing that. Later on, I grown up, I got to know the Ganga story. And it really, really put in my heart, it is such a strong story. You must know about Ashtabashu. The Ashtabashu, they were attracted by the Nandi guy when it was in Vishwamitra Muni's hut. So when they were traveling, they saw that and they stole that guy. And when Vishwamitra came out and he saw that
Vishwamitra was a guru.
When he saw that this Nandi is not there, then he was very, very upset. Then he cursed them that you are not anymore gods and goddess. You have to come this earth and you have to lead a human life. Then they got very upset and they started crying, howling. Then they went to Shiva. Mahadev. Mahadev told me, I can't do anything, go to Ganga. They went to Ganga. And Ganga, they said, Mom, please save us. Then she said, okay. She came to this earth. Shantanu got attracted with her beauty and she got married with Shantanu. And she told Shantanu before marriage, that if I don't ask me any questions for anything, if you ask me any question, I will leave you and go. She conceived 8 times, 7 times she conceived and she, float the baby on the river. Every time Shantanu observed, did not ask a single questions. But the last, when Bhishma born, then he could not stop. He said, why are you doing this? She said, to give them moksha, but I am leaving you. So the story is that Ganga is such a strong lady. She came this universe as a human. And she conceived 8 times a baby, but she was never obsessed with her baby. She really sacrificed. She sacrificed her maya, her moho. She, float them to give them moksha. So only mother can give, only mother can do that kind of sacrifice, nobody else in the universe. So that's the thing that character really, made me, I am totally mesmerized by her character. And I always remember this character because this is so important for all women to know that we have got that power. We have got that power, don't forget. This universe has created us with this kind of strong power. So never feel that, oh, bichari, no. We have power. So that's the reason Ganga is my naika. Ganga is my beauty. Ganga is my soul.
Will you read Ganga from the book, and Arunava, will you read the translation?
I'll take little time because I'm very bad at all this. What page can you just tell me? Arunava, কোন পেজটা can you just tell me? Although I have done everything, but now it will come, I think. Acha, Ganga. Ganga, তুমি নদী, তুমি জল, তুমি জলধারিণী, তুমি পাপহারিণী, তুমি মুক্তিদায়িনী, তুমি পৃথিবী, তুমি গঙ্গা, তুমি গঙ্গা, তুমি গঙ্গা.
Ganga, Ganga, you are the river, you are the current. Water is what you bring to us. For you, our sins do not cling to us. Of deliverance you sing to us. You are the earth. You are Ganga. You are Ganga. You are Ganga.
Will you read from Mother, because you talked about Mother? 146.
তুমি মা, নদী, that is Ganga only. নদী, তোমাকে আমি সম্পূর্ণ বিশ্বাস করি, তোমাকে আমি প্রণাম করি। তোমার জন্ম হয়, কিন্তু তোমার মৃত্যু কি ঘটে? বা কখনো কখনো তুমি কি ইচ্ছা মৃত্যু নাও? বা প্রকৃতির সিদ্ধান্ত দ্বারা তোমার স্রোতকে চালিত হতে হয় বা সুপ্ত হতে হয়? তুমি সদাই অমর, এই পৃথিবীর মতোই। তোমার মহিমা অপার, অটল, অনর। ক্লান্তিহীনভাবে তুমি বয়ে চলো যেদিন থেকে তোমার উৎপত্তি। তোমার মহিমায় এই প্রকৃতি সুন্দরভাবে সেজে ওঠে। সবুজে হলুদে লাল নীল কত শত রঙে তুমি ভরিয়ে দাও এই পৃথিবীকে। কত শত ফুল ফলে শস্যে ভরে থাকে এই ধরা ভূমি। তুমি কখনো পৃথিবী, কখনো ধরণী, কখনো বা বসুন্ধরা। তুমি মা, এত শত উৎপাদন তোমার দ্বারাই প্রসবিত। তুমি চিরকালের জন্য সত্য, তুমি সত্যবতী, তুমি মা, তুমি মা, তুমি মা, তুমি নদী, তুমি মা।
You are mother. River, you have all my trust. To you I defer. You are born, but do you ever die or perish by free will? Can nature's choices guide your flow or force you into dormancy? You are eternal. You are always like this earth. Your glory is boundless, unflinching, fiery. From the day you have come into being with no signs of weariness, you sing. Your grace gives nature its lovely face. Green and yellow, red and blue, with colors true this world you fill. No dearth of blossoms, fruits and grains on this earth. Somewhere you are La Terre, somewhere you are Bhumi, Dunya, somewhere you are Ma. All this bounty comes from your womb. In perpetuity, you are Satya, you are truth. You are Satyavati, you are mother. Mother mine, mother ours, you alone are mother. You are river, you are Ma.
Sunaina, when you, as a curator or gallerist, the most recent exhibition that you mounted of Jayasri, which was so stunning because it involved water, it involved all of these images, which also was about nature. What's the process? Do you both discuss? Is it something that the artist comes up with? Is it something that you nudge, or do you bully them?
Can't bully an artist. I've learned that in my life. But definitely, see, when you are working with an artist and you are presenting an artist and you spend so much time with the artist in the studio, you are somehow a part of, you know the creative process. They discuss their mind, you see their work. So you visit the studio, you see what the colors. And then I started seeing Jayasri from her color palettes. Her colors started, changing in the sense she's using more of blues and more of pinks, and her tonality of the colors are different. And then and it's her process. Definitely it's an artist's process, and you see materials. And very excitedly one day she called me and she said, come to the studio, I'll show you, I've collected this amazing something which I can't tell you on the phone, come and see it. I go there and I see this, buckets full of shells. And I said, what are you going to do with the shells? Because I had never seen shells in her work earlier. She says, you know what, I've been studying and just see, I've created something. So she created this small work which was black and white, and shells are, she's painted a bit on it, but it almost looked like a womb, like a vagina of a woman, and there's a growth happening from there, and there's small shells pasted there. So I got excited, So it's a process that you get excited when you see something new coming out of an artist's thought process, and she's reading, and it's always very, very amazing to be in a studio because there's music in the backdrop, there's material there. So you get I get fascinated even today. I've been going to a studio for so many years because you see all that, and I asked her, so now what? She said, I've created this and I want to work, I want to explore this material. So of course it's very exciting to see when the artist is expanding its language, material, and you become part of the process. You really can't bully them. You cannot say, because she said, listen, I'm doing work, and we don't interfere. Because if you interfere with an artist, then it's not a creative work. Then it's like a product. And then we can't mount shows like the ones you're talking about, because it's really coming out of her mind. And when she starts working with that small work, that was her first work. And then she showed me some works that she had done during pandemic, and which she had not shared with me. And then I'm also, excited to see something new coming up, and then the process starts. And of course, when it comes to mounting, when it comes to display, when it comes to doing publications, we play a role there much more, and then the artist says, now you take it over. But definitely this exhibition, Jayasri was very much involved, because she wanted a certain mood, that exhibition, because what she was going through while creating it, she wanted the audience to experience that as well. So it was amazing to work on this exhibition, because it was very new for us, it was very new for the gallery, new for Jayasri, wanted to see how the audience would respond, but we got a... Can I ask you a question?
You can see some of this on the Art Alive website.
No,
I'm the one asking the question.
No, this question is for you, because you were one of the audience. Others have not seen it. What did you feel about this exhibition? What did you feel?
So one, I was stuck in a traffic jam forever, because they had invited all of India and all of New York and all of Hong Kong. So it took you about 2 hours to get in.
But once you got in.
And once you got in, you had to then navigate, hello, and all of this kind of stuff. But then in the quieter spaces towards the back, both upstairs and in the last room.
Halls.
So Jayasri's work, none of you know, has got color bursting and energy bursting through, because the image of Shakti is so strong. And then you go to this very quiet image, which is without color, in many ways for the first time. Yes, touches of gold, touches of burnt sienna, but the black and the white and the gray and the white of the or the different whites of the shell. Every shell has a different texture, has a different color. And the story that then comes out of that was truly, it was like, wow, this is a new form. And therefore, when this came to me, and I'm going to open it for a second so you can see it. So you can see the writing and the way that she's written it, which in itself is art, and these black and white images that go along with it. This, in many ways, I saw as a progression to much of the work that was at the exhibition. And then her work on water, and this particular exhibition is a continuation of the work on water and her commentary on nature. And I'm going to come back to Jayasri to say, in many of your works, you've got a swan as a predominant image. Yes, taking in some sense from the you. How many of you have seen the Durga image? Durga is the goddess Durga. So for those of you who haven't, so Durga comes to earth once a year, but she comes with her manifestations, and in this case her children as well. So Ganesh, Kartik, Lakshmi, Saraswati. Lakshmi, Saraswati are manifestations, are not necessarily her children, but they're manifestations. But each of them come on a vahan or a vehicle. And the vehicles of each of the Hindu iconography is very interesting. So you may have the snake, but the rat. So Ganesh, though he's so large, he rides on a rat. A Lakshmi, for example, comes on a swan. On an owl. Saraswati comes on a swan. And Kartik comes on a peacock. And again, the peacock representing male ego in many ways. So tell us a little bit about the swan and representation of nature, and then we'll come to...
Swan is like that, from my childhood I used to see in a lot of ponds in our neighborhoods, and swans, ducks, they were floating around. And I always noticed they're all the time together. They float together, they swim together, they fly together. They have a definite time they will eat together. So this is naturally they keep the love, peace and harmony and togetherness. So I think this is the message I got from them, and I want to implant in my work, so that people nowadays, you need to see that harmony. Because in the television, not even the television, in your ring or in your phone, you see what is disaster happening in the world. So after that, you don't need to see anything on the painting like, it's very, disturbing. So I think you feel good to see the love, peace and harmony around you, and you feel peaceful. So as an artist, I think it's one of the duty to give little bit of good feelings to all of you.
Jayasri, during COVID, you were really impacted, and you wrote a very beautiful poem, which I would like you to give the context of the poem and then read, and Arunava will read.
This is Shankramuk. Shankramuk. আর্তনাদ, আর্তনাদ আর আর্তনাদ। এই পৃথিবীকে ভুলে যাবে সব? ভুলে যাবে কি একটি মায়ের সন্তান হারানোর ক্রন্দন? যাবে কি ভুলে অসহায় মায়ের সম্মুখে শিশুকন্যার ওপর পৈশাচিক মানুষের অত্যাচার, পিতার মৃত্যু, মাতার মৃত্যু, অগণিত মৃত শিশুর ঢল, আর তাদের বাঁচার জন্য ক্রন্দন? হে পৃথিবী, এ কি সংক্রামক ব্যাধি তুমি ছড়িয়ে দিলে? তোমারই মাঝে, তোমারই বুকের ওপর চলেছে ধ্বংসের লীলা ক্ষেত্র। কেমন করে তুমি এত সহিষ্ণু হয়ে উঠলে? তাহলে তুমিও কি সংক্রামক ব্যাধিগ্রস্ত হলে?
Contagious. Stricken streams and stricken streams. Will this earth forget it all? Will it forget? a mother's weeping for losing her baby? Will it forget the demonic nature by vile men of a child, demonic torture by vile men of a child before a helpless mother's eyes? Fathers dying, mothers dying, an avalanche of dead children beyond count, and the wails of those who want to live. O earth, what is this contagious illness you have spread? All across you, even on your breast, decimation has carved out its playing field. How did you grow to be so tolerant? Are you too then afflicted by the contagion?
One more, just I want to read. This is actually that period. Same time. যন্ত্রণা শরীরে যখন কোনো আঘাত লাগে আর সেখানে খুব ব্যথা করে আমরা তাকে বলে থাকি যন্ত্রণা। হৃৎপিণ্ডে যখন শারীরিক অসুবিধার জন্য ব্যথা করে তখন প্রাণে বাঁচবো কি না এই ভয় হয়, কিন্তু যখন মনের মধ্যে জখম লাগে তাকেও আমরা মনের যন্ত্রণা বলে থাকি। কোন যন্ত্রণাটা বেশি ভয়ঙ্কর আর অসহনীয় তা ভাষায় বলা বা প্রকাশ করা বড় কঠিন। 2021 থেকে 2023 এখনো অবধি পৃথিবীতে কত সহস্র মানুষ এই মরণ যন্ত্রণা ভোগ করছে তা ভাষায় প্রকাশ করা বড়ই কঠিন। এই নির্মম দুর্বিষহ যুদ্ধে কত প্রাণ বিসর্জন হয়েছে, বিনা দোষে বিনা বিচারে দেশের জন্য প্রাণ দান করতে বাধ্য হয়েছে। চোখের সামনে যখন আগুনের ভয়ানক গোলা নির্বিচারে নির্দ্বিধায় নিরীহ মানুষের স্বপ্নের ঘর সংসার কর্মস্থান ধূলিসাৎ করে দিয়েছে তখন তার যন্ত্রণা কেমন তা যাদের জীবনে ঘটে থাকে তারাই উপলব্ধি করে। যন্ত্রণার কি কোনো রূপ আছে? এ এক নিরাকার অশুভ লাভা যা মানুষের দেহ মনকে গভীর বেদনার গহ্বরে চেপে ধরে থাকে। গহ্বর থেকে বেরোনোর জন্য যতই করুণ আর্তনাদ করো না কেন, সে কথা সে ভাষা শোনা বা বোঝার জন্য কেউ থাকে না। যন্ত্রণা বড় নিষ্ঠুর, যন্ত্রণা বড় ক্রূর, যন্ত্রণা বড় বেদনাদায়ক। পৃথিবীর দেশে বিদেশে গোলা বারুদ বন্দুক অত্যাচার ব্যভিচার নির্মম বর্বরতা মানুষের উপর প্রকৃতির উপর যন্ত্রণার মূল। যন্ত্রণাকে ধূলিসাৎ করতে পারবে কি ধূলিসাৎ করতে তোমরা?
We have time? Yeah. Okay. Agony. When wounds line the body and pain sears it, there's a name for it, agony. When spasms wreck the heart and paroxysms strike, tremulous fear asks whether we will live. But when the heart is wounded, then too we call it the agony of heartache. Harsh and unbearable both, but which is worse? Language fails, words are hard to use for an answer. Remember the years, 2021, 2022, 2023. How many millions face this mortal torment? Language fails, words are hard to use. Count the lines abandoned in this Untergrad battle sans cure, for no crime without trial, forced to forfeit their lives for the land. When murderous cannonballs of flame have in our full view indiscriminately, unhesitatingly turned the dream homes and workplaces of the innocent to dust, what words can spell out that agony? If you know, you know. If life has given you this suffering, does agony have a form? Agony is formless, unholy lava. It smothers the body, the heart, in a pit of affliction. Scream, if you will, loud, louder, to be released from the pit. At that moment, who's there to listen, to understand your words, your language? No one. Agony, so gruesome. Agony, so pitiless. Agony, so adamantine. On earth, in your country or in theirs, ammunition, guns, persecution, adultery, merciless barbarism against humans, against nature, where the roots of agony grow, who can turn agony to dust? Can agony be turned to dust?
Can agony be turned to dust? Jayasri, before I open it up, just a quick last question. Today, of course, you're one of the most famous and prolific artists that we have in India. But in that time that you weren't so famous and your work wasn't necessarily getting out there. What continued to drive you to stay with your art in your difficult time?
That is the word that saved me, actually, because I am blessed. I think all artists, painters, sculptor, writer, musicians, that is our space. We get ourselves there. So of course, life is not so easy. I am successful, as I am very content. At the same time, I must say I am not content with my work till now. I want to grow each and every moment. I want to give something to me, also to everybody, that I can do something special for this universe. I have come this universe, so I have some duties. That is first. Second is that, nobody can stop artist. This factory is such factory. It finds its own tools. Like, I was sitting in the flight, and when I wrote this Shankramukh, Jantruna, Manush, everything in the flight, 9 hours I was in the flight. I wrote those poems because I felt something, because that time the war was going on. So I was flying and I felt what can happen, what is happening. It's not safe. And then I felt from inside, I constantly doodling and writing, because it's constant process. It's non-stop process. I'm looking at you, I'm looking at everybody, but my process is on. I think all artists has got this.
And when somebody when your canvas then travels to the gallery or to somebody's home, does it take a piece of your heart? What is it like to let go?
It is something very special feelings, because when your child, you feel like always stay with me, but you want to see him or her very successful, happy, and on their own space, then you feel relief. So it's the same feelings when I paint. It's totally I give for that. I take as much as I can give on it, take care of my work, and when actually it goes to somebody's world, I feel very happy, because the people are enjoying, and I'm really blessed. I don't have any word for that. It's a huge blessings.
Like Ganga.
Let it go.
Questions?
Because,
Palash, they'll get you a mic.
Thank you so much. This has been a wonderful antidote to cynicism, I find, which I feel like in London we're feeling it more. Maybe this is imagination, but you said you can't bully artists. Now, nobody tends to interfere with the production of an artist. A writer has an editor. An editor is normally a collaborator in the process. A filmmaker has an executive producer, often representing the commercial interests of a broadcaster or a funder.
And an editor.
And an editor. Question is, across these forms, is there a difference? I can imagine that some artists may feel self-censored, may feel the demands of commerce or of politics, especially in contemporary India, are foreclosing certain avenues. I just wonder, where are we at in terms of these different forms and the pressures, the commercial political pressures upon them, versus the freedom of the artist, which is what I'm getting from you mostly, which I love?
Well, interesting question. Yeah, you have to strike a balance, So as a gallery, we are, the gallery's job is really like a bridge. We are like a bridge between the collector, the admirer, and the artist. So pressures, if we understand, we have to understand, if we pressurize the artist, the creative process will go haywire. So you may enjoy that pressurizing and that commercial part of it, but it won't be long lasting. So I think one has to strike a balance there, where you're telling the artist is also interested to know that, okay, I've given you the work, and how is it appreciated? Because that also makes an artist, further explore their creative process. You can't, artists work in isolation, but they definitely need appreciation. So, I mean, you need to strike a fine balance there, and because you can't go very commercial, but then you're not letting the artist, create what they want to create, and the artist will not grow, and you will be doing a disservice to the artist and to the collector and to the viewer. So, I think our job is to just stay there.
I think it's a long time relationship because we start when I'm working with her almost like 26 years, and it's like that we have a faith on each other. Also, I must say that I say stop it, I will not give this work, or I say no, now I am in a transit period, don't ask me any more, any painting this kind, I am not going to paint, because it's I want to grow. Because sometimes, of course, some paintings really people they love, and they ask her, automatically she comes to me, comes to other artists when they ask for them also. But I am the only one, I think if all the artists maybe, but I stop her. I say no, because I have to grow, and we grow each other, we grow together. Because if I am not growing, then how she will grow? And if she is not waiting for me, I will not get a time to grow. So it's both.
Arunava, negotiating spaces, you've been in difficult spaces in this.
Yes. You're in present day India, you're forever thinking many times before choosing to put something out, which is the very antithesis of what any artist's life should be like. But you have to live to fight another day.
Live to fight another day. Question? At the back, and Punita, where's the bubby?
Hi, I just, as a Bengali who has grown up in this country, I just wanted to, the main goddess who we celebrated, and we didn't have all the pujas that were around in India that my mum and dad celebrated, not to such an extent. Durga was the main one, and in fact I named my daughter after Durga. She's called Ishana, and I just wondered if you could say a bit more about what Durga means, because we get a very simplified, as a child I got a very simplified explanation, and it's almost like living over here we've had to invent our own meanings for this because we're not surrounded by the religion and the philosophy, and I just wondered
what does Durga mean? Let's take one more question, Punita, and then we'll...
I just wanted to thank you all for a great session, and Jayasri, listening to you reading, another vocation you have is of an actor, because you read with such emotion, it was amazing. But to just take forward, I also wanted to talk about Durga. I mean, for me, you epitomize actually Shakti and Durga, the way you carry yourself, the way you speak, the energy that you have. I wanted to ask you, was there any point that you felt weak at any time in your life when you felt maybe Durga wasn't there, and what helped you then?
What a great question.
So 2 questions. One is Durga, a little bit more about Durga, and did you feel
I'll tell you about the Durga story, very gist, because time is very less. Durga actually is a Shakti powerhouse, and that powerhouse has been planted by Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwar to fight against the demons. So she came this earth and she fought against the demons. So we have Nava Durga series. So Durga has 9 kinds of a rupa, that she become like a Kali, she become like a Lakshmi, Mahalakshmi, Mahagauri, so lots of names. Prathamang Shailaputriti, Ditiyang Brahmacharini, Tritiyang Chandraghanteti, Kushmandeti, Chaturtakam, Panchamang Skandamateti, Shashtang Kattayani Tatha, Shaptang Kaluratriti, Mahagauriti, Chashtamam. Nabamang Siddhidatrita, Nabo Durga Prakritita, Uktanne Tani Namani, Brahmanoibo Mahastana. So, my pronunciation is very bad because Bengali, Sanskrit doesn't go, but I pronounce like that, sorry. But this is the Durga Shakti. So that this is a powerhouse. We believe in it. So she is the one. You see, not only Durga, I must say, think of Draupadi. She also came from universe in this earth to fight against the Babhichar, against the, what should I say, Babhichar in English?
Oppression, tyranny.
Tyranny.
But also primarily against ego. I mean,
Yeah.
in
So you
Indian
saw-
philosophy, it's about the ego. You're fighting with the ego.
You see Sita, she sacrificed. So we have many stories, mythological story that gives us that kind of a strength. This motherhood, these women have lot of power. So that's the thing. Durga is the powerhouse. And for you, I chanted very badly, I'm sorry. Because in my house, my father used to sit on a chair. He was a hardcore businessman, but no money in the pocket. He always saved people. He always felt people. You know, he's a different kind, saint kind of a person. He used to sit on a chair and chant Chandi like anything. So Chandi in our house is worshipped as our own mother. Baba's Gurudev came to our home and he told my mother that, you know, Roti, you will cook food for Mother Durga. Don't call any Brahmin cook to cook, because the way you will cook for your parents, who will cook for that? So please serve them, do that. So I have learned all these things from my mother, who looked after 40 people at home. And after feeding everybody 9 o'clock on the rooftop, she used to play sitar. So, you know, I have grown up in that family. So that is inside me, maybe hiding somewhere. So it's helping me to try to be a good human being and stronger and powerful. And many moments in life, it has come that I felt I need her. I never felt she's not there, but I felt I need her. Many moments of my life, and she really looked after me and looked after us. So it's like that. It's the trust, belief. Bishwashe milay bostu torke bahudur. Bishwashe milay bostu torke bahudur. If you trust something, argument or logic sometimes doesn't work. Some relationship, something, if you bring logic each and every moment, you are not going to get peace in life. Sometimes you have to let go.
And I have to say, she's really puts her money where her mouth is, because she did an amazing workshop for artists with disabilities and transformed each of their lives. I don't think she's even spoken about this, but it was amazing, the workshop that she did for them.
So trust and belief, and finally let go. Ladies and gentlemen, Jayasri Burman, Arunava Sinha, Sunaina Anand. Thank you all so much for this beautiful book. It's available in the bookstore. So remember, you're not just buying a book of poetry, you're buying her art and soul. So thank you all. And she'll be signing the books as well.